what I want to do, maybe I'm going to answer one of your questions right away. And one of the questions is, let me review it. Okay, one of the questions was, I'm talking to someone and I got the information, and the person asked, thank you very much, there's so much chaos in the world, and we keep talking about how we're creating this collective consciousness for things to shift. You know, are we really ready to do this? Can we do this as a collective? Any thoughts?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And do you know where it starts?
Your own heart, your own life, your own.
Yes, that's exactly it. And that is the answer. You know, what I would do is I'd restate the question and say, let's not ask if they're ready. You have to ask yourself if you're ready. That's the game changer. You're going to do it. What do we always say? You must be what it is that you want to receive. And this is where it gets really great. It's really fun. But the idea is, how do we become, because people are, and the other question that went along with this is, it's like, how am I not supposed to think about this? How am I not supposed to think? Because what do I say all the time? We're not going to think our ways into this, right? We're not going to think our way into expansion. Well, the truth is, this is where it gets paradoxical. Nobody's saying we're not going to have thoughts. I want you to move from reviewing the thought from the personality and observing the thought from the higher self. That's where everything changes. Everything changes when you do it this way. Because remember, the personality, and that's why and I'm putting together a course, but the major part of transmuting the downloads is you have to become aware of them. You have to become aware of them. And a part of the download is always encouraging you to believe that your well-being is going to come from outside of you. A robust bank account, him, her, the pet, the car, the location. And the answer is, that's not accurate. That's an attachment. And the attachment will always bring you to a sense of lack. Lack to abundance. You have everything you need. Now, it doesn't mean that in the vortex there won't be things that come in that you deeply appreciate, that you're deeply grateful for. But, and you're going to have to answer this in your own space, if you need that thing, that's the personality, that's the ego. So we're going to start hitting this. And again, when I say it's the personality and it's the ego, I'm not criticizing anybody. It's the way we've been trained. We're having a different conversation. We're having an expanded conversation. You don't need them, it, this in order to be okay. And we really have to start to observe the thoughts that we have. So the question that the person asked was, you know, how do you not think about this? Well, you are going to think about it. But you have to become aware of the sensations that you feel when you think about it. It's going to show up in the body temple. You're going to feel it. Is it worry? Is it anxiety? Is it depression? You know, so many folks are so trained to think that those things are bad. They're informants. It's just, I mean, watch television for a half an hour and it's all pharmaceutical stuff. You know what I mean? Or a fast food joint. I mean, everything that you're being inundated from a media perspective, because they get it. They're like, we got to remind these folks that if they don't have this thing, they're screwed. And I'm telling you, that is not accurate. It's not accurate. So the idea is that you are going to have thoughts for the rest of your life. 80,000 per day. Are you going to be aware of each 80,000? No. Can you be aware of lots of them? Yes. Is it going to be uncomfortable when you really start to do this? Yes. It's like the pummeling wave. You know, you hit, and then all of a sudden you learn how to ride the wave differently, and it can be very, very fun. Even in the midst of the symmetrics, even in the midst of the chaos. So the question is how do we move from personality, judgment, lack, to higher self, abundance, and observation. And that's where we have to go. And it requires now a daily practice of being with those downloads. And if you fight it, if you fight anything, it will continue to replicate. So the greatest thing I really want to talk about today is, how do you get okay with what is? Truly.